Now, I wanted to ask you about some of the famous Republicans that are absent. We have the Bush family's not here.
I'm here.
You're here. We have Mitt Romney's not here. He's a big critic of Trump. What do you say to the Republicans who've been in the party a long time? They're very recognized, but they're not here at the convention to support the nominee, Donald Trump.
Well, that's their prerogative if they don't want to be here or not. Definitely Trump's a repudiation of business as usual in Washington, D.C., whereas Hillary is the same thing. There may even be some Republicans that are more comfortable with Hillary because they want to perpetuate the status quo. Trump is definitely a repudiation of the status quo. I understand why they're not here, but I would say to the folks who think they're going to run in 2020 and are sitting this one out or throwing rocks from the sidelines, you're going to lose. That's a bad strategy because, number one, I think Trump's going to win. And number two, if he loses and you think you're going to be part of him losing and then just waltz in 2020 and be, one of the favorite people in the race, I think you need to think again. That's a bad strategy. I wish they were all here, or at least all endorsing the ones that were in the race.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to people who are on the fence or seem to be leaning toward Hillary, who are Republicans not backing Trump, what you're saying, it's business as usual, that they probably wouldn't want to support Trump. What does that mean to you, business as usual? What do you think would change that they're resisting?
Well, I mean, Trump definitely is tacking a different line on immigration. He's tacking a different line on trade. I'm free trade. I'm for pro-free trade, but we have given up a lot of our sovereignty to the World Trade Organization. I haven't really specifically heard what he says about foreign aid, but I've been a little bit disappointed at how many billions of dollars we're sending to build countries like Afghanistan when we've got billions of dollars of unmet need here for infrastructure in the United States. So those are the sort of things where he's not tacking the same line as traditional Republicans or traditional Democrats.
With trade, when he says cars coming over from Japan, they'll be taxed because Japan's making a killing off the United States. When you hear things like that from Trump, do you think that those policies could actually work if they were implemented?
Well, trucks are already taxed. There's living proof of this. There's already a tariff. It's just a question really about what the tariff should be. Now, a lot of goods and services don't have tariffs, like cell phones and toys. But what he's proposing is not really as radical as people are making it out to be.
Yeah, I guess it's just the level of the taxation is the issue. How high is he willing to go? And of course, he needs Congress as well to help out on that front.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to ask you about Jeb Bush. Apparently, he may be endorsing Gary Johnson. And I remember you said, this was a while ago, back in March, that when Rand Paul left the race, the libertarian voice was gone. Do you see some Republicans backing Gary Johnson instead of Trump? And what do you say to those people?
If they want to, that's fine. I don't really consider Bill Weld a libertarian. He's a moderate Republican from Massachusetts, right? And I'm not so sure about Gary Johnson either. He's got some positions that aren't that libertarian. It'd be hard for me to imagine that a Bush would endorse a candidate who is not pro-life, and Gary Johnson's not. So I don't know. I don't want to speculate on that because that's just hard for me to believe.
It's Gary Johnson was saying he's been talking. Apparently they've been talking, him and Jeb, about an endorsement. But either way, I mean, the people are saying that Johnson could either help Hillary or help Trump. But you think a Republican should be backing Trump, they shouldn't be looking at Johnson?
Well, that sounds like a quick trip to obscurity for a Republican right now that has any notoriety to try and back a third-party candidate and go down in flames or cause a Republican to lose. So, but I don't know which particular candidates are saying that. I thought last time I checked, they all took a pledge to back the nominee. And I think, I haven't said this, but I have a friend who's asked me, if they can't keep that one simple pledge, why should I trust them in office to keep any promise they've made? And it's a good point. It's a question people are asking me.
Yeah, a lot of people are talking about that, including the state's governor here in Cleveland, including Kasich. He's been surrounding events, but he's not coming to the convention. No endorsement. from Kasich?
It's a simple enough promise to understand. It's not complicated like, oh, I pledge not to raise taxes and then you raise some user fee or something. This is a pledge to back the party's nominee. Everybody can understand what that promise means, and everybody understands they're breaking it. So, I feel somewhat indebted to the party to back the nominee because I got involved as a delegate. I got involved to try and help Rand Paul. I went to Iowa. And so that was the trade that I made to be part of the Republican process, was the promise that I made myself. I didn't make it publicly, but to back a Republican when we were done with this process.